Oh, and I'm live. Look at that. Hey guys, and welcome to a stream. I haven't been here, I haven't done a stream in a long time. But we're back for the 2022 AFL season. Um, and this is my first stream of the season because last week I was ill. And because I was ill, I had COVID. I didn't stream for round one. So we're only going to kick it off from round two this year, which is kind of like what I did last year, but that's because I was lazy last year. This year I have a legitimate reason as to why I didn't end up why I didn't end up starting in round one. So we'll start with round two. I had a really good start to the year. I have to admit, last week was fan fucking tastic. Let's take a look. I'm going to get my league ranking up. I was pretty happy with my league ranking. 2,396 to start the year off and a top 2% ranking. Look at that. 3,228th in the out of 154,000 people. That means I'm better than 151 approximately thousand people in SuperCoach. I'm happy with this. I'm not going to complain at all. Not even slightly complain. I am very, very happy with this result. This year, I'm not only doing my Classic League, I'm also doing my Draft League. And I just want to point out that, as I said, I've had a great start to the year. My Classic League, Draft League, not so much. Didn't have the same impact as what I did in my Draft League, as what I did in my Classic League. Now, I've had quite a few amazing performances. My midfield is stacked. It is thick at the moment, and it is doing great. But we do have some concerns. The main concern was, Will Malera in the back line of 39 was not good. That was not good. Whitfield was disappointing with 73. Hinge, 50 was kind of average. It was kind of average. I'm a bit disappointed with that. I'm hoping that we can see at least 60 points from Hinge this week if he plays again, which I'm hoping for. And Malera, he should be around the 60s as well. I am thinking of dropping both Malera and Whitfield, but probably not for round one. I actually want to reserve my trades this year. I don't want to make any round one trades, or round two trades, that is. So I'm thinking I'm going to hold off. Prior to round one, Whitfield looked amazing. He looked like he was in some fantastic form. Kind of okay form, but he looked fit and ready to go. He said it was his best preseason to date, that he was fitter than ever, and that sounds good to me, considering the guy is a dual best and fairest winner and an All-Australian winner. So that that does sound pretty promising. And then he goes out there and scored 73. And I'm pretty sure he had like 50-something points up in halftime. So he only had 19 points after the second half. So not that great after halftime. Look, it could be just a once-off game. It is round one. A lot of defenders did not play great. Crisp, Rich, those sort of guys were all pretty average. Ripley was under 100 points too. I know a guy that had all four of Whitfield, Ripley, Rich, and Crisp. Feel bad for that dude. I really do. But some people started off pretty poorly due to those average numbers from defense. So I'm not going to make any major plays on Whitfield just yet. I am thinking of a trade maybe next week if Whitfield doesn't perform again. Whitfield needs to be scoring close to 120 for me to consider keeping him. Malera needs to be scoring in the 70s as well. If I'm going to consider keeping him, anything lower than that, and I'm really just not interested. This is the trade I'm thinking of making. I'm just bringing it up on the screen. I posted it on my Twitter. If you haven't already followed me, do give it a follow. Give me a follow. That'd be great. So I'm thinking Whitfield for Hewitt. Save a bit of cash. Malera upgrade. Slight upgrade. I'm talking about $4,100 to Heath Chapman. Chapman scored 80 points last week. Not incredible, but for his price, he's doing a lot better than Malera. So this is most likely going to happen in leading into round three. The reason being is, first of all, it's going to also give me $101 additional $1,000, which is fantastic, and I can use that anywhere on the field that I want. Second of all, I could trade down to Hewitt, who scored, I think it was 132 points last week. Absolutely incredible. And if you could do that again, then why the fuck not? So if Whitfield doesn't perform again, Whitfield needs to be in the hundreds. Not just like 100 points, he needs to be firmly in the hundreds for me to consider keeping him. Hewitt also needs to be scoring in the hundreds again. Otherwise, what's the point for me? I feel as if Hewitt's not performing in the hundreds again, then I don't see the point in making that trade. Wow, I'm getting a lot of people message me. And can you leave me alone for like 3 seconds? That'd be great. Leave me alone. Hewitt, he needs to perform better. Well, not better, but at least around that level again for me to really do that downgrade. I need to see some sort of consistency. Walsh is back this week, which I was worried about when it came to Hewitt. Thinking adding another gun midfield to that already pretty full midfield that Carlton have could mean that Hewitt scores less, but then Chera leaves this week because of the health and safety protocols. So I suppose we're not going to see that differential because Chera leaves, Walsh comes in, so Hewitt's going to be playing the same kind of role this week. If Hewitt can score in the hundreds again and Whitfield doesn't, then that trade's happening. If Malera also plays average again, then I'm probably going to ship him off too, because at this point in time he's going down in price, and I'm not prepared to take a loss on a player at that cheap. Definitely not. And if Chapman plays well again, if Chapman scores above 70 points again, then I'm probably going to take him on for Malera too. So this is most likely my trade leading into next week, not this week. Now we've got a bit of news as well this week. You know, as I mentioned, Chera is out due to the health and safety protocols. But we're also down Nick Martin, who scored 114 points last week. Fantastic debut. We're down him. Look, that just means that he's going to go up in value in most likely round 4 instead of round 3, because he's going to miss this week, but he's going to be back the week after, let's be honest. And he's probably going to play the week after that too, unless he gets injured. So I'm going to hold on to him. Just going to put him on my bench. It's just kind of the way it is. You know, take the emergency off him, put the emergency on Dixon, and that's what's going to happen. Now, the other news that we have is that Dustin Martin could potentially miss this week. He could potentially miss due to off-field issues, and he might take an indefinite leave from the club. But that has not been confirmed. It's still up to speculations yet. Hardwick has said something about it to the media, that it is most likely he won't play, but it hasn't been set in stone yet. He didn't train this today, so that's the reason behind it. He could still line up, though, against GWS this weekend, and even if he doesn't, it could be a short-term thing. I'm not jumping the gun yet. He scored 108 points last week as a dual position player. We know how much of a star he is, and he's fit and firing. Look, honestly, I'm not going to make a call this week in my Classic. What I'm most likely going to do is, this. Substitute this. And bang. That is what I'm most likely going to do this week. This is what I'm going to line up with. Hayes, I think Hayes is playing against, was it AFL.com? No, AFL.com.au. I don't even know what that is. So I think it was, who are they playing this week? St Kilda are playing Fremantle this week. So is Darcy playing? We don't know yet. I assume he'll probably end up playing Darcy. If Darcy plays, Hayes is going to be going up against someone that is, quite good, and it could affect his scoring. But then again, he also did score 127 points against Grundy, and Grundy still scored 124 points. Personally, I think that Hayes is just the way to go for now. I don't need, as you can see, I'm not forced to make that trade unless one of these guys don't play. If one of these guys also don't play, Dunkley's already been named, then yeah, I might be forced to trade Martin, but I don't think I'm forced to do it yet. I'd like to see what happens. Going into round 2. There are 2 players I'm considering trading in for Martin. You had Isaac Heaney, who absolutely dominated last week. How much did he score? I think he was 132 points last week. 141 points, which is insane. He played at midfield predominantly, drifted forward. He played fantastic footy. But guess what? I've been burnt by him too many times, and I don't want to make the jump yet. Longemeyer has said that he's playing more midfield this year. Thus far, he is playing more midfield this year. But again, I want to see it for more than 1 week before I make that call. He is the player I'm most likely bringing in. The other player I'm thinking of bringing in is Dusty's teammate, Bolton, who's a little cheaper. And he scored 101 points last week. Another dual position player. We know what Bolton can do. We saw what Bolton can do when he is the main X factor in the Tigers midfield and forward drifter. When Martin was out of the side, or even when other players were out of the side, Martin was in the side. We saw it. Bolton looks fit and firing and ready to go. So I'm also considering Bolton. So it's either Bolton or Heaney. I haven't made the call yet. I'm most likely not going to make the decision this week. Just hold off 1 more week before any changes are made. I want to hear more out of the Dustin Martin story before I make the call. I can still make that call tomorrow because tonight we're only seeing Carlton and the Western Bulldogs play, so it's not going to affect that Dusty to Heaney trade or Dusty to Bolton trade. It's not going to affect that at all. So I can still make that call during the round. So I'm going to wait just to get a little bit more information on the Dusty situation before I make that decision. If we're talking, he's going to New Zealand, then maybe I might have to trade him out because that's sad. The other thing is Bolton does have an injury cloud. There was some news from him earlier this week. What's his name? Andrew McCormick. 7 News sports reporter did say that he looked kind of ginger, and I mean he was. He appeared to be in some sort of discomfort in the 2 days earlier. I think it was Tuesday's training session. Shy Bolton, so I have to keep an eye out on that. So I'm swinging more to Heaney because, if Bolton's also got a bit of an injury cloud above him, then, well, let's be real, I don't want to be bringing in an injured player for a guy that's out indefinitely. The other thing is, again, I still just don't have enough information to make that call on Martin. So let's just wait. I'm most likely going to make that decision next week. I'm hoping to not make any trades until the following week. But if I am forced to make a trade, it will only be the Dusty trade. I'm not doing the Whitfield-Malera one until leading into round 3 because I want to see one more game from Whitfield. I want to see another game from Malera. I want to see another game from Chapman, and I want to see another game from Hewitt before I make that decision. Now, the other thing that I am definitely doing this week is a Lachie Neale captaincy. He has scored 157, 157, and 140 in his last 3 games against Essendon on an average of 151.3 points. That is fucked. So I am definitely most likely putting Lachie Neale as the captain, but I'm also putting the vice captaincy on McGrath. He's the guy that I've spent the most amount of money on this year. So, that means that he is the player that I am looking at to score the highest amount each week. I mean, it didn't happen last week. Obviously, Miller, Neale, Rowell, they all scored better. And, I'm glad that they did, but at the same time, McGrath is the highest, most expensive player on my team for a reason. I'm going to vice captain him. He plays tonight. If he scores 140 points or even in the late 130s, I might even just do a loophole and not risk the Neale, because if Neale scores close to 150 points, obviously I've screwed up. But you know what? If I can get a guaranteed 130 plus game from McGrath, I'm probably going to take that as a loophole. I've got a few players that aren't playing. Obviously Martin not playing, so I could loophole either of them. Knowing he's going to miss this week because of his concussion, so he's most likely going to miss this week, so I could also loophole him. There's clouds over whether or not McDonald and Hugh will end up playing this week too, so I've got loophole options. So I'm okay. That's what I'm saying is I'm okay. Probably going to loophole one of them. I just haven't decided which one I'm going to loophole yet. Probably be in the forward line because, well, it'd be an easy one to loophole. It's already he's guaranteed not playing, and so is he. So it could be the back line too. I guess I'm just going to have to wait and see until more teams are announced. Thus far, we've only got the Bulldogs and Carlton announced. So this is what I'm looking like. I'm not making any trades unless I'm forced into a Dustin Martin trade. I just want a little bit more information on the situation before I make the call. If I do make the call, it'll probably be tomorrow, and I'm probably going to bring in Heaney. Let's be honest. That's the one that I'm going to most likely bring in. They're the players that I'm really keeping an eye on at the moment. We've had some news from a few rookies as well. I'm just going to bring it up. I think it was Sam Skinner. So Port Adelaide assistant coach Nathan Bassett said that John Sin and Sam Skinner both are training quite well, and they're both playing quite well in the reserve thus far. So they performed. Did they play a reserve match? Whatever. They've been training well. Both could be pushed into making round 2 debuts. So we could keep an eye on them. But I'm not thinking of downgrading anyone right now. I'm thinking of swapping Dusty for a player like Heaney. So we'll see what happens. And then Will Day, he's a guy that I'm definitely keeping an eye on. He's most likely going to play this week. Apparently he killed it in the Box Hill VFL practice match on last Saturday. He's only 345k, so I'm definitely excited to see him. Let's take a look. And I think that's about it, really. That kind of wraps up my Classic League. Let's go to Draft because I do have to make a trade this week. Players? Yeah, is that where I go? This is my first draft of the year. I just kind of want to see... No, just my team. Sorry. Let's see. So I started off the year with a loss. It was kind of disappointing because, I had players like, Jeremy Cameron that didn't... Obviously, got injured, didn't play. Is he playing? I think he's playing this week, so I'm going to leave him in the side. Koch and Edwards, they didn't play very well. Kelly didn't play. Stephen May underperformed. Luke Ryan underperformed. So there were players that underperformed, right? And then I also had Charlie Curnow in the team. I just brought in Stengel because he was a free agent in my team. And he was still a free agent when free agency opened. So I just kind of snapped him up before my stream because I couldn't wait any longer. Far out, Paul. Stop messaging me. Please stop messaging me. I'm going to have to do my stream on the other screen next week when there's a bunch of personal messages not barreling in on the bottom right-hand side of my screen. But anyway, I am really disappointed with this week's last week's game. I had Ward on my field too, so I scored that shitty 36 twice. I scored it on my field in Classic, and I scored it on my field in my draft league. Look, I'm pretty happy with my team, but I am going to have to substitute Dusty for a player. I'm thinking I am going to have to depart with Ward. It kind of does suck, but I do need to do something. I don't think I've got anyone available via waiver wire. It has to be a free agent. It needs to be a forward. And I don't believe I've got anyone that I can bring in that I'm really happy and keen to bring in, which kind of sucks. I'm forced to make a trade I don't want to. Mitch Lewis played well. I just don't think he could do it again. I had Rao. Rao is not a player that I'm thinking long-term. Ranky, yeah, I suppose. He is not a consistent scorer. I'm just not keen on anybody that is currently not available for my draft league, so I'm really disappointed. I mean, this guy's gonna play regularly. He's gonna play regularly, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to make that call on him. Jack Silvani's gonna play regularly too. I'm just not. There's just not much. There really isn't much. I mean, I could bring a Mitch Lewis in and hope that he does it again, but let's be real. Like, let's take a look at his stats. Like, he's been around the system for a while. He played 14 games last year and averaged 65 points. That's not ideal. It's really not ideal. Yeah, I mean, that's a decent game, but yeah, it's not ideal. Mitch Lewis. Nick Holman. Let's take a look. Some stats. His 2021 season. Played a decent amount of games, but again, I mean, he showed that he could score okay, but not good. It's not good. It's just really not good. There's just not many options when it comes to my draft league this year. Yeah, he did not score well. He did not have a great season last year, did he? No. So that's the thing. I don't have much. I don't have much to go on. He's a definite no. He's a no. And Ainsworth, maybe. Dalhouse, I know that he's best. He's a fantastic, but I don't think his spot in the side is secured, and I don't want to bring in a dude that's... Yeah, I've also got 2 cats already in my forward line. I don't want a 3rd cat in my forward line. Castagna, I don't think is a player that I'm going to make that call on. Let's see. I mean, maybe Schultz. Let's take a look. What was his 2021 season like? Yeah, nah, definitely not. I think, you know what? I could do a Mitch Lewis. I mean, what did Mitch Lewis? Let's take a look. What did Mitch Lewis? You're gonna see my my crap. I got a lot of crap on. Let's take a look. There were some stats. Where are the SuperCoach stats? I do forget. Where do I go to get them? I know that it's on my phone. It comes up on my phone. Give me a sec. You can keep looking at that meme in the meantime. The Footy Gods. Okay, so we got the Footy Gods. I think this is a great page, actually. I think they got a podcast as well. They posted, it was a few days ago, I think it was, posts. It was, now it was a couple of weeks ago, but they posted some stats. I want to see how Lewis played in the preseason game. If I can see how he played in the preseason game, then nah. I want to see how he played in the preseason game. The Blues. Let's see. Okay, so before this, obviously. Let's see. How did he play against... Did we play... No. Far out. Turns out it was a while ago. This is great stuff, isn't it? Here we go. Hawkerlum. Alright, there we go. So, he... Yeah, scored 59 points, right? So that's the thing. So consistency-wise, he's not doing great. That's not great. Yeah, that's not great. So personally, I'm not convinced in anybody right now. I'm actually thinking Corey Durden could be the best player to just pick up. He looked impressive in the preseason, but again, I don't think he's a good pick. I know that his best is good. This is tough. There's not many options when it comes to... I know his best is amazing, but again, I don't think he's at his best anymore. Hugh Dixon, I don't care. I mean, yeah, he's a gun, but fuck's that? 38? What the hell? Charlie Curnow, no, definitely not. Kind of missed the boat on players, didn't I? Let's see. Who else do we have? I mean, if Laddams plays, it could be a decent one. We know that he's a good scorer. But he needs to play. Sinclair as well, but he needs to play. I need to pick up a player that's going to play, obviously. Waterman, Mitch Brown, definitely not. Ben King, Kaczynski, Malcolm, Habe, Scott. I know that he's back. He's in the team, but I don't want to put him in because I don't think he's going to stay in the team. This is really shit. I mean, he's in the team too, but I don't think he's going to score a big score. Wiedemann, no. There just really isn't much. There really isn't much at the moment, and that is kind of disappointing because I don't know who I'm going to pick. Apparently, Elijah Hollands absolutely killed it in the twos the other week. But again, he hasn't been named yet, so I don't want to make a call on a player that hasn't been named. I just don't, because I just don't. Yeah, there really isn't much. Here. Nice. That was great. So, Let's take a look. Is there... No, I don't think there's going to be any players unexpectedly playing games this week. So, if they didn't play last week, they're most likely not playing this week. That's what we're saying. That's what we're thinking. I'm swaying toward the Ladams. You know, if Lambert was playing... He's got indefinite. If Lambert was playing, he'd be in. But he's not. So that's tough. Lazaro, definitely not. Coleman Jones, you know, nah, I'm not going to take that. I don't think he's... Personally, I don't rate him at all. Nah, there really isn't much. I had Kernow. I'm not going to bring him back. Kind of sucked last week. Definitely sucked. There's just not much at the moment, and that is really disappointing. It is really disappointing. There's just not much. Again, like the guys that are available, they're okay players, and at their best, they're good, but how often are they at their best? I'm thinking him, but that's the thing. He had to score 2 goals to get that score, and he's only a second-year player. Do I want to give him a go? If this was classic, yeah, it's fine, but it's not classic. This is draft league, and right now I'm not sold on anybody, like literally anybody. I'm never sold on him at all. I'm not sold on any of these players at all. Like, not even a little bit sold on any of them. Like, why this shit? He's in 4.3% of teams, though. He's in 17.6% of teams. That's interesting. I mean, I know that he's going to play every week. But, like, is he really going to score 81 points every week? I doubt it. Honestly, I just want Dusty playing. But unfortunately, I've got what do I have? I've got Dusty and Green missing from my forward line, which is frustrating. I've already got Stengel, who I doubt will score like that again. So, I mean, I could put Mitch Lewis in, but he wasn't that impressive in the preseason games. Like, look at that. It's not that impressive, right? It's just not. I mean, I can give him a go, see what happens. Hopefully he plays well. It's possible, I suppose. Or I could give Max King a go. How's Max King scores? I did have him last year. Did I? No, I had him in his debut year. See, that's the thing. His scores are they're just too... Nah, in his bad days, his bad days are bad. His bad days are really bad. Yeah, fuck it. You know what? Whatever. Just do it. Yeah, I don't care. I need a player that's playing. So I'm just gonna swing with a Mitch Lewis. Screw it. He's not going to be my my second. He's not going to be my VC. I'm going to put Lipinski as my VC. And just hope for the best. Let's just do it. Let's just go. Whatever. This is my draft league. Let's just do it. Let's just see what happens. Do I think Mitch Lewis is going to do that again? No, I don't. No, I really don't. I just don't. But you know what? What other options do I really have this week? Not many. Eventually, I'm going to get Green and Martin back in my team. At that point, I'm just going to put them in my forward line and everything will be okay. It's just not that point in time right now. Baker will switch later on in the year to a defender and a forward. So that's going to be really helpful when I can have another defensive forward option, which means I could put Chapman. That's why I want to hold on to Chapman, because I want to put him onto the field. I think Segler, when he is fit and firing, will eventually be a good spare ruckman to have if anything goes wrong for Grundy. So I don't want to lose him at all. There's just not many options when it comes to draft league, because obviously there's a limited amount of players. So I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, I'm not thrilled about it, but let's be real. There's not much else I can really do. So I'm just going to stick it out. This is what I'm going to stick with, and I think that's about it, really. I'm thinking the Dusty Go away. I'm thinking the Dusty, as going back to my classic, I am thinking, as I said, the Dustin Martin to Isaac Heaney. I just want to get more information on the story. I mean, I might, let me look. Let me read it some now. Is it the, nope. Where is the Dusty one? Oh, round one return for Hogan. Leon Cameron has 3 big decisions to make. Hogan could be a good one. Hogan could be a really good one, actually. He played practice match. I know that his best is good. You know what? You know what? You know what? Screw it. Oh, I could go Jesse Hogan. Is Hogan currently in a team? I just want to see. Let's just pretend to trade Dusty out. I'm going to hold on to Dusty because if I lose him, someone's going to snap him up immediately, even if he's, injured, or not injured, but out indefinitely. I just want to see if Hogan's available. No, he's not. Damn it. So someone has Hogan. Okay, that's frustrating. All right, that's fine. That's fine, because I would have definitely gone Hogan over Mitch Lewis. I feel like Hogan is a decent scorer. When he's playing, he's actually doing well. So I think that he's a decent scorer. That's a player I'm probably going to keep an eye on in my classic league as well. I just want to see this Dustin Martin story. Richmond superstar Dustin Martin is taking time away from the club and is in doubt for Sunday's match at the MCG against Greater Western Sydney. It adds to a growing number of headaches for the Tigers, who are coming off a rare round 1 loss to Carlton. They have lost key forward Jack Riewoldt, thumb fracture, and top on baller Dion Prestia hamstring already for the match against the Giants. Martin was notably absentee from Thursday's run at Punt Road and has not been at the club since Monday's match review, missing the Tuesday training session as well. Wow. Coach Damien Hardwick said Martin was taking time away from the club because of personal issues. Hardwick did not go into any details of Martin's situation, but his father Shane died last December in New Zealand. He's dealing with a couple of personal issues, and whether he's available to play this week, we're unsure at this stage, Hardwick said before training. So we won't close the door, but we just want to make sure that Dustin's okay. We'll give him his time. He's so important to the fabric of our football club. We just want to make sure he's okay and he's getting what he needs. The 2007 Brownlow medalist and 3-time Norm Smith medalist is Richmond's most important player, and the 30-year-old is among the AFL's top stars. I love how this sentence was required. I just love how that was required. Whatever, I suppose. Richmond was well beaten in the midfield against Carlton. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I don't think Richmond's going to win at all. The worst thing as a coach, you hate getting blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is just not information that I really need to know. I wonder if he's going into former captain Trent Cotchin was again against the critics, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. So Cotchin, I'm hoping for my draft league that he actually steps up with Dusty out. He played pretty well at the end of last year when Dusty was injured. So if he can replicate anywhere near that kind of form again, I'm going to be very happy in my draft league. I did pick him very late in the year in the draft, by the way. Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, interesting. I just want to get more news in the story before I make a call here. I might get Heaney. We'll see what happens. I would prefer to see Heaney just play one more game before I make the decision. But if I'm forced to, because I am playing the top guy in my primary leagues this week, I think that it's best to make the call. But you know what? Hayes as well. I've got the cover for it. So I'm thinking I might just take the week. On the chin, see what happens. If Dusty comes back next week, then do I really lose? I don't. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I'll be back same time, same place next week. This will be up on YouTube later. If you haven't already, give us a like. Or if you're watching it on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. Follow us, blah, blah, blah. Do all those things. I mentioned my Twitter earlier, so, keep an eye on that as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back same time, same place next week.